Welcome to the first tutorial on my new board game. The game can be played by 1 to 6 players. The aim is to defeat the Nexus demon in the centre of the board. You start from one of 6 locations on the edge of the board, which is divided into 6 differently coloured areas called circles. Characters start on circle 1 or C1 and make their way through C2 to C5 through to the Nexus Guardians that form the final circle before the Nexus demon. Along the way, they will gain power by defeating encounters, collecting items, and commanding followers. The board is almost empty because the world is randomly generated by drawing land tiles. A number of these will be revealed at the start of the game, then as characters explore they can reveal more. A character's power is shown by the amount of mana they have, represented by 7 tokens. These are Sun, Wind, Spirit, Moon, Rain, Earth and Nexus. The Nexus mana is a rare type of mana that can be used as if it were any of the other mana types. Let's do a quick walkthrough of the first few rounds of the game to get a better idea of what all this means and how the game works. Setup is fairly simple. If there are 4 or more players, it is recommended that you take the Nexus keys out of the relevant land tile decks, circles 1 to 3, and have each player start with one that aligns with their character, e.g. the Spirit Nexus key for Annie. All the rectangular cards should be separated into their relevant piles. Effect cards should be separated into A and B piles, each of which is shuffled and then the A pile is placed on the B pile. Land tiles should be separated, including separating 1A, 1B, 2A and 2B, then shuffled. Keep these all separate. Each player chooses a starting character and places the token for their character on the starting position indicated by the symbol on the outer circle C1 of the map. For this playthrough we will play a 2-player game with the Then, represented by the Wind token, and Annie, represented by the Spirit token. Now we randomly reveal lands for each character playing. 2 of the light yellow 1A tiles, each side of the starting location, for a total of 4 tiles, and then 3 of the 2A tiles in the nearest C2 spaces to each starting character. To ensure random selection, it is best to place each tile before revealing it, otherwise players might place them in a way that benefits their character. As players become more experienced, you might choose to allow this as a way of adding more strategy to the game. Keep the remaining 1A and 2A tiles separate. Each character starts with 2 I tokens, which are miscellaneous items that can be used for trading. Each player takes a mana of their character's type. For example, the player playing Then will take a Wind mana. They also choose additional mana. The number of additional mana will depend on the number of players. If there are 2 to 3 players, each player takes 1 additional mana, and if there are 4 to 6 players, or if a quicker game is desired, each player takes 2 additional mana. These mana can be chosen, so the choice of starting mana will usually depend on the sort of encounters that are close by. Encounters have a number of differences to other land tiles, the most important being the mana symbols displayed down one or both sides, underneath the words such as pacify, fight or banish. This is the mana required to complete those actions. It is more beneficial to be able to banish or fight an encounter than it is to pacify. We can see that Annie has drawn 3 encounters and a rock nest in circle 1 and 2 encounters and explorer in C2. She already has a spirit mana, so with the limited information available she knows that she needs a rain mana if she wants to fight Zolix, or an earth mana if she wants to fight the merfolk. If she takes a rain mana, this will also allow her to fight the hyena pack. Then already has a wind mana and chooses an additional sun mana to allow him to banish the boot. You could choose a rain to fight the giant squid or a moon to fight the rats, but the higher the circle of the encounter, the more experience gained. Determine who goes first by rolling a die. If we roll a spirit, moon or rain symbol, Annie will go first, a wind, sun or earth, and then goes first. We roll a spirit, so Annie goes first. Each turn consists of up to 5 phases, but in the first couple of turns we will only need the movement phase and the interaction phase. There are 11 possible options in the movement phase. but only 3 of these are available on the first turn. These are staying where you are, moving to an adjacent tile, or teleporting to an unoccupied starting tile. Annie wants to fight the hyena pack, so she moves onto that tile. Because Annie has enough mana to be able to fight the hyena pack, she automatically wins. This is the interaction phase. The hyena pack tile shows various pieces of information. Above the name is the circle number where it is found, and underneath the name is the encounter type, which is animal. At the top left is a special ability, meaning it does not need to be able to see a character to know it is there. And at the bottom of the tile is the symbol for a terrain type. This is hills. Above the terrain, but below the picture, is the treasure that can be found when an opponent is defeated in a fight. In this case, 2 eye tokens, which the player takes from the stock and places on the character sheet. There is nothing else for Annie to do on her turn, so play passes over to Ven. Ven is next to the abandoned treehouse containing 3 eye tokens, so he moves there and takes the eye tokens from the stock. That's the move and the interaction done. Most land tiles, if they are not encounters, are discarded once interacted with and won't be seen again this game. Ven starts a pile for discarded C1A tiles, and that is the end of his turn. On Annie's second turn, she moves to fight Zolix, a summoned creature. He does not have any treasure. He has a spirit and a rain mana as his fight mana, so Annie can defeat him. Annie has now gained enough experience from fighting encounters to swap them to gain some mana. Defeated encounters can be swapped for mana once their total circle value reaches a certain proportion of your base mana. If there are 2 players, the encounter value must equal your base mana. So she can swap Zolix for 1 mana and keep the hyena pack for later. The way to choose mana gained also depends on the number of players. 2 to 4 player games, roll 2 dice and choose one of the 2. There is no choice if both dice show the same symbol. Annie rolls a moon and an earth and decides that the earth mana will be most useful to her. So she takes one of these and creates a new discard pile for circle 2A tiles where she places Zolix. On Ven's turn, he moves into the boot tile and banishes him. This is the same as a fight but for incorporeal creatures. The boot is from circle 2 and Ben has 2 base mana, so he swaps the boot for a mana. He rolls the die, rolls 2 suns, so he must take a sun mana. He then places the boot in the discard pile. On Annie's turn, she moves into the explorer tile. The explorer allows her to reveal up to 3 tiles in circles 2 and 3, no more than 3 spaces away. So she chooses to reveal the nearest 3 tiles in circle 3. Hoping that she can get to a higher circle. Unfortunately, she reveals 3 difficult encounter tiles, so she won't be able to move into any of those next turn. On Ven's next turn, he moves into the spirit plane, which says pick 1 effect. Whenever a card says pick 1, it means you take 2 and you choose whichever one you want and you put the other one to the bottom of the pile. Then has a look at the 2 effect cards and decides that the mana conversion is the one that's probably going to be most useful to him. On Annie's turn, it's worth having a look at the various options available to her in the movement phase. For each of the previous turns, there have been a number of options available, but we've just gone for the most obvious choice. Annie has 5 movement options available to her this turn. Number 1, move into an adjacent revealed tile. Number 3 on that list, reveal an adjacent tile from your circle and one from the circle below and choose whether to move into one of them. Number 6 on the list, move back to the space you left last turn if it's adjacent to you without revealing tile. Number 7, teleport to your home tile. And number 10, do not move. Those are the 5 options she has, and she is going to reveal those 2 tiles, option number 3. Even after revealing the tiles, she doesn't have to move into any of them, she can stay where she is. One thing she cannot do is move into a tile that she's not revealed this turn. If you reveal a tile, you must either move into it or stay where you are. One of the 2 land tiles she reveals is a thugs tile. The treasure gained from defeating the thugs is a hand mirror. Since the thugs were a C1 enemy, and he searches the C1 treasure deck for the hand mirror. Underneath the name of the card is the location on the character sheet where it is kept. In this case, the mirror is handheld. On Ven's turn, he goes for option 4, reveal one tile from an adjacent tile in the circle above you, which is C3. He reveals the tile-helmed Royal Guard, which Ven can neither fight nor pacify, so he cannot move this turn. Annie moves onto the rock, which allows her to move up to 2 spaces in circle 1 or C2, and reveal the tile she lands on. If she reveals an encounter that she cannot defeat, the rock will pacify it for her. The land tile revealed is a Baba Yaga, which is a fight cost of a spirit mana and a question mark. The question mark is determined by rolling the die, and if the encounter is not defeated, the mana is re-rolled each time somebody attempts to fight it. Fortunately, she rolls Earth, which she has, so she places the Baba Yaga into a swap pile and takes the Spirit Ring from the C2 treasure pile. The Spirit Ring allows Annie to use an Earth mana as a Spirit mana in an encounter. It is also part of a set with the Earth Ring, allowing her to gain a mana if she finds both. Annie then swaps encounters for more mana. On Ven's turn, he knows that he wants to create his mana conversion effect. This has to be done before the movement phase, unless the card specifies otherwise, and the effect is placed at the bottom of the effects deck once created. He converts his mana into what he needs to defeat the Tile-helmed Royal Guard. Then he goes through the movement, interaction and swap phases as normal, remembering to collect the C3 treasure along the way. The treasure is Raynon's Scepter, part of a large set of Raynon's items. Each one offers a bonus to a character's mana, which should be kept with the item so as not to get it mixed up with the base mana. Bonus mana doubles when 4 out of the set are collected. That's the end of the first tutorial covering the basics to get you started.